everyone, my name is Damilola and I'm here to give a presentation on back safety. So let's dive right into it. So just some housekeeping rules before we start. There are two toilets in the building. There's one upstairs and one downstairs, just in case you feel like using the washroom. And I really appreciate if you can turn off our mobile phones just for this period. And also there's an exit at the very downstairs, so just one exit, so in case of a fire, we know where to go. All right, so the objectives of this is to basically learn the part of the back, the common back problems, causes of back problems, and how to avoid back injury. So there's three regions of the back. There's a cervical, which is basically up there, so towards the neck. And then there's the thoracic, which is from here, the middle, basically, from here to here. And then the lumbar, which is underneath the ribs, right up to here. And then there's a sacral, which is the tail, and the coccygeal, which is the bottom of the tail. So normally, whenever we're doing anything or any kind of job, our spine is actually supposed to have this S shape. So if any kind of job that you're doing and it's not having that shape, then you really need to reconsider, because it says all three curves of the spine, the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar, are present and in good condition. So a neutral spine is in natural position when all three of the curves are in good alignment, and that means it has to be in this shape. Moving on. So this is basically the anatomy of the back. The previous thing we saw, so this is more like an expansion of it. So there's the bones, the discs that separate the vertebrae, the muscles and ligaments and the nerves. And all of these have different things that they actually do. So the bones provide the structural support for the back. The joints control the amount and direction of movement. The discs separate the vertebrae made of tough elastic material that allow the vertebrae to bend and twist, and the muscles contract to cause the body to move, basically. So common back problems. There's strains and sprains, which is caused by improper lifting or twisting, falls, or other injuries, such as those sustained in an automobile accident. Usually involves irritation of the muscles and ligaments. That's pretty self-explanatory. Muscle spasms involve involuntary movements or contractions of the muscles without full control. And herniated disc. So basically this is a disc right here. And when this shifts, so basically this gives us the control of movement, basically. So it provides like a cushion to allow the bones to move. So sometimes this is a nerve. This red one is called a nerve. So when this pushes onto the nerve, it's called a herniated disc, and that causes us a lot of pain as well. So I just thought I would give a bit of a background. So some interesting facts to make it a bit more interesting. So 80% of the world's population can expect to have back pain at some time in their lives. Twice as many back injuries occur at home as in the workplace. About 400,000 people suffer disabling back injuries each year. And sooner or later, 8 out of 10 adults at some point in their lives will experience back pain that impairs activity. So have you guys experienced any back pains ever?
Yes.
Yes. Yes? Yes. Okay. So I'm glad we're on the same page. All right, so basically this is a percentage of back injuries that lead to lost work. 70% of the back injuries that occur that lead to lost work occurs at the lumbar, which is the lower back. So if you remember the picture that I showed you in the beginning, so this is the lower back, this is the lumbar. So basically 70% of injuries that lead to lost work occur in the lower back. So that tells us that that's one of the places that we need to guide, basically. So causes of back problem, heavy lifting, especially repetitive lifting, while carrying a heavy load, reaching and lifting over the head, working in an awkward and uncomfortable position, e.g. tasks that require bending. So basically, when we have to do any kind of lifting or bending, there's a proper way to actually do that, which we'll get to in time. Other causes of back problem, sleeping on a wet floor. It's raining a lot right now, so we need to be careful not to slip and fall and hurt our back, or ice, if there's ice around here. Sitting or standing in one position for too long. So for some of us that work in the office, when you have to sit for so long, at least give yourself breaks, stand up, move around to avoid any kind of back problems. So back injury cycle, I just thought we would see how this goes so that we'll be more cautious. So first it starts with a back problem, and then it starts to hurt to move, and then you stop moving and you become stiff, and then you become weak. So we definitely don't want to get to any of these points. So let's see how we can avoid back injuries. So basically body mechanics, proper lifting techniques, exercise, stretching, and correct posture. And for body mechanics, so basically when we have to lift a load, we always think that we're actually lifting this. So for example, this is actually 10 pounds. No, this 10 pounds? Yeah, so this is 1,000 pounds. And then this person actually weighs 105 pounds. And so this person actually feels that they are lifting 1,000 pounds, but then the strain that you put on the back is actually 1,150 pounds. So in other words, you're actually putting more load on your back than you actually think that you are. So that's just what that says, that if anytime we're thinking of lifting something, we should try to put in our minds how much we're actually lifting. So imagine this person lifting this, it's definitely going to cause a strain on the person's back here. So moving on. So steps in proper lifting technique, you definitely have to look at the size of the load. You can't just assume that something is heavy or light. You have to size up the load, assess the situation. Is the load big, bulky, or heavy? Can you slide it rather than lift it? If you have something like a machine that you can use to slide it or push it, that will definitely have more, it'll cause less strain on your back. If you can get an equipment, do you need help to move? Don't be afraid to ask someone to help you lift it, so that will share the burden of the load. And then no secret technique will work in all circumstances. Try to use different ways to lift the load. So the safe lifting zone, I'm concentrating on lifting because, like we said, the lower back is actually where where most of the injuries occur that lead to lost work. So the safe lifting zone is between the knees and the shoulder, so between here and here. And if it's below the knee, then you have to bend and lift with your leg. And if it's above the shoulder, you need to use like a stool or ladder to get the load. So basically, if the load is not on this part, if it's above you, then get a ladder, and if it's below you, bend with your legs, with your knees, and lift with your legs.
No, with your back.
Yeah, exactly. So there's also a kind of preparation you need to do. So before you lift, have you stretched your muscles or warmed up before lifting? Are you wearing slip-resistant shoes? Have you cleared the pathway for yourself? Before you lift, you need to do some stretching exercises so that you can warm up the muscles. And then the steps to lift. So you basically bend your knees, and then you hug the load to yourself, and then you lift with your knees. So avoid any kind of twisting or anything like that. So I'm going to demonstrate with this. So if you're going to lift this, normally you just want to do this, but that's actually a wrong way to lift. So you actually have to stretch, divide your legs basically, and then you have to bend with your knees, and then bring the load to yourself, and then lift it up. So that way you're not putting a strain on your back, but you're actually using your legs to lift. So would any of you like to demonstrate? Yeah, sure.
Can I just push it?
Well, if it's easier for you. So, exactly. And then, exactly. So you need to pull the load to yourself, right? Before you then stand up. So, yeah? Exactly. Exactly. So, this is the area that's safe to lift. So make sure that you hold the load tight to make sure that the weight isn't on your back or any other part of your body. Thank you. Alright. So moving on. Also I'm just gonna shift this so it doesn't a hazard. Okay, so the exercises for the back, you can do sit-ups, you can minimize problems with your back by exercising that tone. By doing exercises that tone the muscles in your back, hips, and thighs. Before beginning any exercise, you should check with your doctor and follow his or her advice concerning any exercise program. Exercise regularly or every other day. Just move on. So stretches. This is just showing us more kind of stretches that we can do to make sure that our bodies are warmed up and our backs are in a good condition. So lower trunk rotation, hamstring stretch, and quad stretch. So posture. So there are rules to follow to maintain a good posture. So if you remember when I said the back has to actually have the S shape. So imagine this now. This looks more like a C. So we have to make sure that we sit straight. So when you're sitting, make sure that you actually sit straight, stretch out, walk tall. Bad postures can be the cause of spinal pain, and it can make existing pain worse, and it can certainly make pain last a lot longer. So relaxation techniques as well. We need to drink water, stay hydrated. The human body can live with or without food, but only a few days without water. So we need to stay hydrated. Stress management, breathing techniques, exercise regularly, rest and relaxation. Express your feelings, don't keep things bottled in, because it's not good also for your back. And then rest and sleep sleep on a firm mattress. Don't sleep in one position for too long. And then in conclusion, you need to take care of your back and it will take care of you. So like I said, exercise and stretch daily, avoid heavy lifting, get help with heavy or bulky objects if you don't bend over, do it properly. Avoid twisting at the waist when carrying objects, always watch where you're going, drink enough water, maintain a good posture, and that's it. Any questions?